Welcome. Today is Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. Today we're going to start a book study of one of my favorite books. This is called Comet's 9 Lives by Jan Brett. Mrs. Newman and I have thoroughly enjoyed sharing this book with students for years and years. We've done this at the end of each school year. We have a few vocabulary words that I want to make sure you understand before we start reading because they're going to come up in the story and then you're going to have to use them later on. So, the first one is Nantucket. Have any of you been to Nantucket? Nantucket is an island south of Cape Cod. It is somewhere I've never been. I actually have a cousin who lives there and I've never been. I've been to Martha's Vineyard a lot of times, but I've never made it to Nantucket. This was the year I was hoping to go, but I don't think that's going to happen. So Nantucket is an island south of Cape Cod. And do you know what an island is? An island is a body of land completely surrounded by water. So there is land and all the way around it, on all sides, there is water. And the only way you can get to Nantucket is you can fly there. They do have an airport, or you can take a boat there. You cannot drive to Nantucket. There are islands that you can drive on a bridge to get to, but Nantucket is not one of them. Have you ever heard of foxgloves? Foxgloves are a flower that grows on Nantucket, but they tend to be poisonous to animals. Remember that. Do you know what bestsellers are? Bestsellers are books, and they are books that are read by many people. So adults, when they read books, they write a review about them. And if lots of people read them, then they become bestsellers. A scalloper is a boat that is used to harvest shellfish. And we will read about a scalloper in our story. Have you ever heard of a waltz? A waltz is a dance. It's a slow dance. When people get married, the first dance they do is usually a waltz. It's a lovely slow dance. A ferry. Have you ever been on a ferry? A ferry is the boat that you would take to go to Nantucket. So it's a boat that carries people and goods. The way that they get all the things over to Nantucket that people need to buy, all the goods, they go on a ferry or they fly them over. Do you know what a lighthouse is? A lot of people have seen them, but you know what they're for? A lighthouse warns ships of dangerous rocks. So it would, before people had navigational tools on boats, the ship's captains would be looking for the light from the lighthouse, which is called the beacon. The beacon is the light that comes from the lighthouse. They would be looking for that because that would let them know that they were going the right direction and they were staying away from the rocks that would be dangerous to their ships. So these are words that we're going to come across in our story. Nantucket, island, foxgloves, bestsellers, scalloper, waltz, ferry, lighthouse, and beacon. So let's begin our story. This is Comet's 9 Lives by Jan Brett. Comet was born 30 miles out to sea on Nantucket Island. He grew up wandering all over the island, staying a few days here and a few days there. You see the beautiful frame around the picture? These are called sailors' valentines. And when sailors went out to sea for long periods of time, they collected shells. And when they came back, they made them into these beautiful frames or pictures. Maybe they made them, maybe their wives made them. I don't know. One summer day, Comet stopped in a garden to nibble some tasty-looking foxgloves. First, they made him feel woozy. Then he fell into a deep sleep. See those foxgloves? Remember I said they were poisonous? When Comet woke up, he felt fine, but different. Oops! He realized he'd lost the first of the 9 lives every cat has when it is born. See number 1? Have you ever heard that about cats, that cats have 9 lives? It's because they tend to get themselves in tricky situations. Maybe they get caught up in trees or they get stuck in small places, but they usually get out of them. Maybe I should find myself a home. And he trotted into the bookstore and settled down on top of a stack of bestsellers. So he's on the island of Nantucket. He's already eaten foxgloves, and now he's in a bookstore. Life was good until one day it rained all morning, and the islanders hurried inside for something to read. In the rush, Comet's tower of bestsellers toppled over and he was buried under a pile of books. Oh no! He had turned the page on life number 2. I think I need some fresh salt air. Down to the docks he went and arrived just as a little scalloper, the Jean T, was casting off. Once underway, an easterly wind blew up, and Comet knew he had made a mistake. So here was life number 2. Went away in the bookstore. Here he is. He's going out to sea on the scalloper. See the boat? This is the scalloper. Up, up, the Jean T rose. Down, down, down she flew on a following sea. Comet hung on until a huge wave foamed across the stern, and he found himself afloat on the high seas. See this sailor's valentine made with all the shells? So here, there's a note, and it says, "Lonely cat seeks friend, please." So this is the lighthouse keeper, and he's putting this note in the bottle, and he's going to throw it out to sea because his cat wants a friend. The tide carried Comet back into the harbor, but as he flicked the salt from his whiskers, life number 3 went out with the tide. See the number 3 there? Comet was still recovering on the beach when he heard music. It was the annual 4th of July concert. He climbed up a tree for a better look. That's in Chatham. If you've ever been to, there's another one in Chatham. This is the one on Nantucket, but they have one in Chatham every year as well. I used to take my kids when they were little. The music reached its loudest chord. Comet got so excited that he lost his grip and plunged down into the tuba. 3 waltzes and a Sousa march later, Comet staggered away, and life number 4 sounded its last chord. Comet spent the night trying to figure out what to do next. He wished there was another cat around to ask if its lives were going by as quickly as his. The next day, everyone was going up to an open window and coming down with ice cream. Comet was hungry, so he trotted after the crowd. The staff at the ice cream shop gave Comet his own bowl of leftover milkshake. He felt so welcome that he decided to stay. But all too soon, an island health officer burst into the shop and spotted Comet. "Furball!" he cried. "Feline residues! Maximum infractions!" What's he writing now? Cat wanted. Startled, Comet jumped up and fell headfirst into a strawberry shake. The staff pulled him out, and he watched life number 5 fly off, licking its paws. You notice up above, each time one life, it's like a cat with angel wings goes up into heaven. Maybe I'm trying too hard. It's time for some fun. He climbed into a bike basket just as a crowd of summer visitors were hurrying off the ferry. A lot of times people come over to Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard for the day, just for the day, and so they rent bikes and they ride all over the island. So here he is riding in the basket. It was Waffle's first time on the island. She was happy to have Comet's company, and off they went bumpity bump all around the island. Just as they reached the bottom of the last hill into the village, Waffle screeched to a halt to avoid a taxi. See the lighthouse keeper? Wanted cat inquire within. There's a lot going on these pages. Comet went flying along with life number 6. I think I'll just walk the rest of the way. And see, here's the cat with the wings. Comet was limping by the Island Theater when a poster advertising the last performance of summer caught his eye. A beautiful actress with a sweet smile looked out at him. Maybe she would like to take a cat home with her. Comet pranced happily on stage and purred loudly. The actress sneezed. "There's a cat in here!" she shrieked. "I'm allergic to cats!" She spotted Comet and hurled her sequined high heel right at him. Comet flew through the air into the last row. The curtain had come down on life number 7. Fall breezes were blowing up as the summer visitors headed for the ferry. Comet wandered alone along the beach. He could see the red beacon of the Brant Point Lighthouse in the distance. There's the Waves crashed and pounded on the sand. The wind picked up, and deck chairs and lobster pots flew by Comet. It was Hurricane Almador, heading straight for Nantucket Island. All Comet could see now was the blinking lighthouse beacon. He ran toward it when a huge wave broke on top of him. The rushing surf carried Comet into an open doorway as life number 8 washed out to sea. Dazed, he opened his eyes and saw a green light across the room. Meow, someone purred. Meow, he answered, looking up. He was staring into the green eyes of the lighthouse cat. At that moment, he knew he was home. He found a friend, and the cat who needed a friend found a friend. And as the fall days turned into winter, Comet knew exactly where he wanted to live for the rest of his life. Isn't that a lovely story? It's one of my favorites. So you have 2 activities to do. One we're going to do in a minute, but the other one is, this is a word search. And you notice these are the 9 words that you're looking for. Nantucket, Island, Foxgloves, Bestsellers, Scalloper, Waltz, Ferry, Lighthouse, and Beacon. Okay? But you have been learning a lot about and working with cause and effect. And you have seen this worksheet a few times. Now, Comet lost 8 of his 9 lives. You only have to come up with 3 of them. And I'm going to explain how to do this. You can go back and rewatch the beginning of this video and pause it along the way. I'm going to do the first one, and then you can do any of the other ones after that. So when you look at the beginning of the story, right at the beginning of the story, one summer day, Comet stopped in a garden to nibble some tasty-looking foxgloves. First, they made him feel woozy. Then he fell into a deep sleep. So what happened? The cause is he ate foxgloves. And what happened? He went into a deep sleep. When you complete this, you must write in sentence form. I don't want to see foxgloves sleep. No, he ate foxgloves. He went into a deep sleep. Can you write the one about foxgloves? No, I did it for you. So look at the other each time. So the next one, so if you're confused, okay, here's life number 2. What happened? Oh, something happened and then something happened. So what happened? The bestsellers toppled over. The effect, Comet was buried under a pile of books. Uh-oh, what happened here? An easterly wind blew up. What happened? Comet was flung into the sea. Uh-oh. What happened? Comet lost his grip. That was the cause. What was the effect? He plunged into the tuba. Uh-oh. What happened here? The island health officer yelled. And what happened? He fell into a strawberry shake. Oh, what happened next? Waffles screeched to a halt. He was flung in through the air. Uh-oh. The actress threw her shoe at him, and he sailed into the last row. Hurricane Elmador headed for Nantucket. A huge wave broke on top of him. So those are the 8 lives that Comet lost. You only have to write 3 of them. What is the cause? What is the effect? The cause is what happens first. The effect is what happened because of the cause. This should just take you a few minutes. Go back and look at the tape if you can't remember which of the lives. Just go back and pause it, write the next one, write the next one. Okay? I'll see you later. Bye.